How you doing?
Fun for a character too.
Yeah, I was gonna say for
This is Barry White now. All right, man. It's 2:30 a.m. We got some stacks of wax we're gonna be spending for all right.
Okay, well our panel today is scheduled to be on voice acting. I don't know why we scheduled them for that.
I have no idea.
Yeah. Oh well, we'll try it.
I was going to ask you guys how to do it.
What I thought would be probably a great way to start would be maybe to let you take a few minutes and just tell the fans here how you found voice acting and how it came to you, and kind of introduce yourself in that way. And then I have a few questions, and I'll bet they've got some questions too.
Sure.
Normally I repeat the questions back, but I think with a group this small, just speak up when you ask a question. We can discuss that part.
Exactly.
And we're going to have a fun hour together.
I love it. You guys, us guys, 1 hour, intense.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
Oh no.
Okay. So how I got involved. I always wanted to be a voiceover actor. I always wanted to be a cartoon in a cartoon. I didn't know what I think I said to somebody. How many people saw me at the lunch? Okay, so for the people that did not see me at the lunch, I sort of gave an overview about this. I used to watch Saturday morning cartoons. My mom had me when she was only 15, so we were both living with my grandparents. And my Uncle David was 10 years older than me. He used to take me out of the crib every Saturday morning to watch Saturday morning cartoons. And one Saturday morning, he snuck into the room, took me out of the crib, and accidentally knocked my head against the door jamb. And I was crying and crying and crying. And I think just because I knew I was going to see cartoons, and then I had that jarring incident. I have no idea if that's the reason why, but that did happen. Boy, he got into a lot of shit, I tell you. Ooh,
whoa!
Sorry, poop. Got into a lot of trouble. That happens. I'm Canadian. We talk like that sometimes. Sorry. See, and then we apologize for it. Oh, I said the SH word. I'm really sorry, eh? I'm so sorry, eh? So anyway, every Saturday morning I would, from the time I can remember, I was watching Saturday morning cartoons. And then I discovered Mel Blanc did all the voices he was one guy and did all these voices. And he is, like so many of us voice actors, he is our hero. He's the guy. He's the deity of voice. And when I discovered that one man could do more than one voice, it so titillated me. It was so fascinating to me. I just couldn't wrap my head around it at first. And so I started impersonating Bugs Bunny, and I started impersonating like as many characters as I could. And then I started to do other voices like Humphrey Bogart, and like a 7-year-old kid doing Humphrey Bogart. I was so random. But I was always doing that, yeah, what's up now, blah, blah, blah. And doing that when I was just a little kid. So I started doing talent shows in the summertime for my summer camp, and I would always win. And then I did public speaking, and I was the youngest recipient of a district-wide public speaking award when I was in grade 5. And then I just started to just tell jokes constantly. So I was a class clown. And this is what happens when class clowns grow up and realize I don't know how to do anything else. That's all I know how to do, is make people laugh and be silly. Then I was still living at home. And when I was listening to the radio, and some people in Vancouver, I was living in Kelowna, which is in, I don't know, you guys probably know about as much about Canadian geography as I know about American geography. I know I'm somewhere in America, and I know that it's somewhere upper east, am I right?
Yep.
Ah, see? It's only because I know it's an hour flight from Toronto. That's really the only way I know that. But Kelowna is in British Columbia, in the middle, lower part, and Vancouver, of course, is on the coast. 5-hour bus trip, 6-hour bus trip. And so I was listening to the radio, and I think I was listening to Kathy Westlock and someone else that were talking about voiceovers. And this is when there really was no voiceovers going on in Vancouver. It was such a fledgling industry. And it was
that's a big film town now.
Yeah, now it's a big film town, and we are Hollywood North for animation. I mean, we are cartoon town. We do as much in Vancouver as they do in LA. So they were talking about what it is to be in voiceover and making these voices, and I'm like, they do that in Vancouver? And so as soon as I graduated, the day I graduated, I was doing stand-up. I did stand-up for 15 years. I was the MC at some local places, and I was touring around. The day that I graduated, I went from my grad ceremony in my grad cap and gown to the Downtown Businessmen's Association hired me to do some stand-up for their function. And it was a little podium like this with a mic, like not like just like this, except everybody was eating prime rib and talking, and you couldn't hear anything I was saying. And I was just like, "This is BS, man." Sorry. And I said, "I'm out of here." So the next day, I decided that's it. So I'd save my money. I'd gone back and forth. I'd gone once because I heard about an audition with Doug Parker. Doug Parker was a voice director in Vancouver. He also played Starscream for a little while. He's done a lot. Anyway, I went to see him for an audition, so I saved up all my money, took a Greyhound, went to Vancouver. And I did Bobcat Goldthwait for him, like, "Oh, how are you doing?" I just want to say, "Oh, I'll be out of here." You know, and he was like, "Oh my God, you're absolutely crazy." So I just, talk like this, and so he got me to do a couple other voices for this character. Then I got back on the bus, and I went back home, and I did that. I'd save up money, because I knew this was my dream. And when you find your dream, if you don't give it your all, then it's, you're not doing yourself a service. There's a book that I'm writing right now called Billy Brainwave's Nighttime Alphabet, and the second one is called The Incredible Everywhere Rope, and one of the key catch lines, one of the best things I ever wrote is the amount of faith that you have in your journey is exactly how far that journey goes. And I sort of try and live like that, and I try and tell all my students that I teach this as well. Anyway, so I had a lot of faith. And eventually, as soon as I graded, so that was back and forth before grad. Now skip forward. I graded first day on the bus. The next day after this terrible night of doing stand-up, I was on the Greyhound with my suitcase and a little bit of money and not much. And I was on welfare and food banks for the first couple of years because no one would hire me because I wanted to go to auditions all the time. I'm not going to leave halfway through the job, and I couldn't see well enough to drive a car to deliver pizza even. So I starved for about 2 years, going to auditions, and eventually I got one. I landed one, and it was a little thing. But in the meantime, I went into this. I'm talking a lot, but I'm giving you the full history. Am I boring you? Am I boring you?
Not at all.
I'm really sorry, if I am. I'm totally sorry. So I went to the Union of BC Performers, and I said, "Hey, I'm your next voice coach." There was not a lot of voice coaches at that time. I was one of the first in BC. And they said, "Oh, okay. Who are you?" And I said, "I'm Lee Tockar, and I'm silly, and I'm from Kelowna. And I have an itinerary. I got my class curriculum of how I was going to teach people how to do voices." And I taught for 2 years doing that, and that sort of kept me alive. And until I landed my very first role, which was Kokanee beer, which was Kokanee beer, glacier fresh taste, straight from the Kootenays. It's the beer out here, blah, blah, blah. They never gave me one case of beer for that, nothing. I know, right? I mean, some perks, but they did pay me, and it was good. And then I landed my very first cartoon as a lead. And it was like, whoa! And it was Ripster from Street Sharks. And it was absolutely awesome. And I just remember the first line was that I said was, "Hey, what have you done with our dad? That's our dad's watch." And then later on, we beat the bad guy, and I said, "Awesome!" And they're like, "Hey, that's awesome. Do that. Keep doing that." And then it became a thing. And then everything just clicked into place. I'd go in, and the script, and it was every page, it was me, and I was the lead, and I was sort of carrying the show with Matt Hill and the other guys, and it felt like I had finally found my home. Being in the studio, playing with these silly people, and the microphone was right here, and it was here for me, and I just felt like this is it. This is what I want. This is what I want forever. And then I got my wish, and now I'm here in front of you, and that's my story.
here, but it looks like you guys are ready to go. So rather than me asking them, let's start with some of these.
Sure.
Who's got the first question?
Being a singer or being able to sing, how big is that in the industry, and how much does that open any doors that would otherwise be closed to you? Do you get paid more?
Yeah.
What are the perks and benefits? See, I'm a classically trained singer, so I'm trying to actually get
What
into
style?
Opera.
Fantastic. You know, if I will answer your question only if you can do the high part from Pagliacci.
Well, I'm a baritone, but I can do the high part for the baritone role.
Okay, and 3, 2, 1. So can you stand up? Stand up and do this, please.
Piuttosto che le nostre povere gabbane di strioni, le nostre anime considerate, poiché siamo uomini di carne ed ossa, e che di quest'orfano mondo al ridiva. Ora ascoltate, con mi rispondo. Andiamo,
You got a hold of the chairman right away. I think we have a good talent.
That was awesome.
Wow. Okay,
A
so
little help from Bugs Bunny there.
so yes, did you see that? So short answer, no, it doesn't help. Sorry, that was just for humor. I'll say anything for if it's funny. That was so amazing. What's your name?
My name is Nick Monzo.
Nick Monzo. Oh my goodness, Nick Monzo. Nick Monzo, that was Bonzo. I loved it. Holy cow. You know, it's funny. Not funny. It's no small wonder that most of the people that are very good voice actors are also singers or musicians, because there is a musicality to the way you deliver every single line. The ear wants what the ear wants, is what I tell my students. And even just the cadence of how you say something, if you look at it like almost like a logarithm on a page, or you know, if you see it, it's almost like reading a chart. The way you end on a note, it can change the inference of what you mean, you know? And every single thing, every note that's hit. So there is a correlation between people that have a good ear and people that are good, not just at singing and music, but voice acting, because voice acting has a musicality to it. And there is tiny, a paragraph consists of several different stanzas, several different bars, and several different songs, miniature little songs that all convey and different emotions that help you emote. I tell my students how powerful it's. Don't abuse your power. The human voice is so powerful. If I wanted, I could make you cry. Now, if I wanted, I could make you laugh. If I wanted, I could make you laugh. If you're good. I spend my life trying to perfect that, and it's an ongoing pursuit, and I'm not quite there yet, but I'm I really like the place that I'm at right now, and I'm happy that I can give joy because I want to give joy. But there is a musicality, and don't abuse your power, but the human voice, the power of the human voice to invoke, to instill, to promote, to convey, to teach, to disseminate, in other words, to spread, in my case, what I just love, making people happy and spreading joy. That gave all of us joy. And it's a very powerful thing. There is a musicality to it. So short answer, there is no short answer, obviously. I ran past my short answer about 3 minutes ago. So there is also a benefit to it. I play in My Little Pony, and Daniel Ingram is the composer for that, and I go in and I do scratch singing for him as well, because I am a singer as well. Not operatic, not classically trained. You know, I'm a little bit more rougher around the edges than that, not quite so refined. But you can get paid doing that too, to do scratch tracks. So that... Interesting. I think one of the little furries is nibbling through the wire. You get to see just little smoke coming out from here. Just some little voice. Ow!
That display of talent actually made me think of a question that I wanted to ask you.
Yes.
It's jumping tracks a little bit towards the future, but there's a lot of talent in our furry fandom.
There certainly
I
is.
saw it on the stage last night at the AnthroCon tonight.
Yeah.
And so I wanted to ask you a little bit about your Fanbuilt project and, you know, a way of looking at
I would
like
love
that.
if you guys would, do you guys want to know a little bit about
Yes.
Yeah? How many people here know a little bit already? Oh, that's awesome. So we're 15 months old only since we got our materials back from our lovely and talented Mike Bernstein over at his radio station there. And we got all of our stuff back, and I decided to take it in a new direction. So we're 15 months from then, April 1st. And we're only 650 people in or something, maybe more, I don't know. But we haven't told anybody really about it because we're not ready yet. We're still doing, right now this month we're doing the promotional video to help people, because we're going to use Google Hangouts. And we'll do a quick jump to Skype. People like Skype, and we have a Skype chat for Fanbuilt fans that's about 120 strong at any one time. There's like at least 10, 15 people. Like right now, if you jump on, there'll be people there talking, sharing stuff. What we are is we're, I gotta try and organize my thoughts here. I gotta organize my thoughts. Okay, we are a group of artists. And it's for producers looking to find artists of any kind. We have a whole list, and you just tick your boxes. I'm an illustrator, I'm a voice actor, I'm an actor, I am a character design, I'm a color stylist, I do whatever. And then when producers come looking for talent, they'll type in what they're looking for, and you will pop up if you're an illustrator or a singer. You'll pop up with like pages and pages of other singers, and then you can upload your songs or your illustrations or your demos if you're a voice actor. OC. And so that it's a way for producers to look for talent. It's a way for talent to look for each other to work on projects. And we are, the end result of this is we're very close to getting our podcast ready. We're working with Animagic, Michael Calderon from Mexico, and he's got a team of crackerjack ace animators. So they're almost finished doing the bumper and the end credits and all the little 7 or 8 different segments. We're going to have Convention Connection, and this is going to be on the first podcast, all of this. So this is going to be on the first podcast. I'm going to talk to Jim Cummings and see if he will please give me a little interview. I'd like him to be one of the first. I've already got a couple other people, but I'd like Jim to be the first interview. So there's going to be Convention Connection is going to be a segment, and it's going to be about 11 minutes long. And we're going to have our Artist of the Month or Artist of the Week, depending if we can do it every 2 weeks. I'd like it to streamline it to that. We're going to be working in conjunction with Apple TV, and we've got that in the making. And we're working with our programmers to automatically pull with Apple TV. It's going to be streaming all the time, and we're going to pull from voice actors. There'll be demo reels with their pictures, and photographers. There'll be constant photography going, and it'll just automatically pull the ones with the most likes. and then we'll pair it with original music that you guys upload. We've got so many great composers on there. We have hundreds of composers, hundreds of voice actors, hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of photographs and illustrations. So we're just starting out. We haven't even told anybody yet, and we're in 34 countries. We're over 650 strong now, and my PR person, everybody wants me to go fast with this. It's already been 15 months. I'm like, it's only been 15 months. Like, leave it alone, let it grow naturally, and I'm really excited about all the people that are excited for it. And I don't want to show anybody in the world until it's ready, because why show somebody something that's half-baked? Look, I want it to look good. And I know what I want it to look like. And it's hard sometimes to keep the inspiration alive for it, because I'm kind of flying it alone. But when I click on the site and I see how many people are already, like, that's Fanbuilt right there. So how many people are already uploading their stuff, and I listen through some of the composers and the songs, the singer-songwriters, I just get chills. So I'm like, they're doing this for Fanbuilt. They're doing this. Things are happening. So if you aren't a part of Fanbuilt already, please, www.fanbuilt, FANBUILT.com, built by the fans. It doesn't cost a thing. We're gonna start. I know we have to make money somehow, so we're trying to find ways of doing it by getting advertisers without having advertising thrown in your face, because I can't stand that. So there are other ways that we're trying to monetize the site without costing anybody anything, because I don't like that. I don't think you should have to pay. I know that DeviantArt you have to pay a premium. I don't want to be that. I don't want to be that. Anyway, I'm babbling a lot, but it's exciting for me, and thank you for giving me the opportunity to do it. But please join, start your profile, pull up a picture that you like of yourself, and then a little sentence about yourself or what you do. Upload some of your files that you want to be seen, and communicate through our forums and our chat rooms with other people that you like, and send me a message and say, hey, I'm here, I did it, I joined. And then tell other people about it, because we're not going to succeed if we don't have eyeballs on the site. Even though we're not doing any public announcements yet, the only announcements that I've done have been at this convention and 2 other conventions. And a third one that I just sort of hinted at it.
So say hi and say AnthroCon sent you some.
Yes, because right now we're inundated with bronies, so let's get some furries in there.
My hometown has a BronyCon going on in it right now.
Oh, really?
Yep, so I had to send some messages to some of my Spanish friends there saying, guess who I'm sitting next to? Let's have another
Someone
question.
fabulous! Fabulous! Who else?
Over here?
Yes.
I was getting over a bout of pneumonia. I still have a bit of a cough. I was wondering, have you ever been affected by sickness of any kind when it comes to it?
Oh, yeah. Yeah. It's,
It's only a mild bout of the con crud.
Dun, dun, dun. It's the death for a voice actor if they get sick. It is death. Yes, I have been sick for weeks at a time sometimes, but not very often. I try and take care of myself as much as possible. And you'll see that I do this a lot. I've been shaking a lot of hands here at this con because I just feel compelled, and because most of you are protected with a lovely layer of fur, so I don't. There's not a lot of yeah. See, but it really. I mean, I've lost so much work. When you're sick, you lose work, and it's your lifeline is your health. Sleep, sleep, sleep. That's what you need. I just try and get as much sleep, even though I'm an insomniac and I can't shut the damn movie off. Oh, I said the D word. Sorry. I can't shut the movie off sometimes, but yeah, it's really bad, and I get paranoid. And the other thing is, like, when I'm talking a lot, like I'm after this, I'm going to go to my hotel room and I'm going to probably gargle with some warm water. And there are ways that you can do it. There is an opera singer's trick, actually, that I use. When your voice is hoarse after talking, it's just basically you're dry. There's something called, give me a minute. It's basically like it's like an extreme lubricant. It's like, but it's over the counter. No, it's like Astroglide, but it's like edible. It is. It's like that, and it's in the pharmacy. You can get it. I can't remember what it's called right now. I will glycerin, and you take 2 ounces of hot water, a tablespoon of glycerin, and then an ounce of cold water, and you stir it around, and you gargle that, and gargle it, and keep spitting it out, and it basically lubricates your larynx, and it will keep you from, and it's a quick fix. And that's the immediate fix. There's also a quicker fix. You can get Cepacol or Chloroseptic. I warn against it unless you really, really. How many are singers? Holy cow! Get on Fanbuilt. Get on Fanbuilt. But if you could use this, how many are aspiring voice actors? Get on Fanbuilt. But you can use it, spray just before you're about to do your thing. But be careful, because you don't know how much damage you're doing. And the next day, you can tear and or rupture the what I call this is the money right here. Yeah. So that's the money. So be very careful. Yes?
Well, actually, one thing I was just showing, another thing you can use if your thoughts bothering you, just something as simple as this.
What is that?
NyQuil.
NyQuil
or Dayquil.
Dayquil. I'd say, because, okay, get ready to do some funny stuff on this cartoon, Lee. Okay, here's my character.
NyQuil. Dayquil doesn't have the drowsiness.
That's right. So try not to, Dayquil does help. It's because there's a lubricant to it, because it's viscous. That's what you need. It's just anything that sort of coats.
And thank you for giving me the
Peanut butter.
Peanut butter, no. No, that's the opposite. Yes,
I'm going to have some crackers and peanut butter.
A question in the back there?
Yes, question in the back.
Inanimate objects can do some of the funniest voices, and I'm sure you have some funny stories about inanimate objects. What's your favorite inanimate object that you have ever voiced? How do you come up with stuff like that?
Well, do you know what? I don't really get to do a lot of inanimate objects. Angela Lansbury, the teapot, that's some good stuff. But I always, and I'm admitting this openly to a bunch of furries, I always get animals. I always get the animals. I get more creatures. In Pac-Man, that's on right now, I play Fuzzbits, which is, and he turns into a big ape gorilla thing. And I do that, and then Bibble, the little floating creature, like, so that, and I was Stretcho Mutt, Dino Mutt, I was Mad Cat in and Brain. I was Brain and Gadget and Mad Cat, and playing with Maurice LaMarche. I always get dogs or stuff and things like that, like, so I always get animal stuff, but very, very rarely do I get inanimate objects. So, yeah.
What is the trick about doing exactly what you just did without actually straining your voice? Because it sounds like there's a lot of pressure that's coming through.
That?
No, some of the other,
this.
Yeah, that stuff.
I don't know how I do that. I don't. I just, you know what it is? I spent hours in my parents' basement sitting in front of the mirror, just experimenting with different regions, how to make different sounds. They did think that I was crazy. Full disclosure, they did actually put me in the hospital once because they thought I was crazy. I'm not kidding. They thought that I had some problems, and I'm trying to explain to them, no, I'm just down here in the dark making funny noises. What is wrong with that? And so they had my counselor take me in for a day to find out why I was doing this. Well, I'm really coming clean with you people here today.
It's okay, I spent an hour in a raccoon costume.
Oh, there you go. Well, what I say here is just between you, me, and the entire internet. So.
Thank you for staying with us.
Yes, and the entire internet.
Sometimes at these conventions, I feel like we're on the island of misfit toys with Charlie.
Oh, Charlie the Box! That was one of my favorite characters to play. I love it. Yeah, that's true. Nobody wants to play with a Charlie in the box. And then, halt! Who goes there? Oh, it's just us. Oh, well, that's okay. Okay. And who, may I ask, are you? Love that. I always watched that when I was a kid, and I'm like, oh, I got to play that. Yes. Every once in a while, you get that little.
Wow, what's that like to inherit a voice that you have to repeat?
It's really, well, first of all, I'm honored because if I got the role, it means I've beat out every other person in town who's auditioning for that, which makes me feel quite special. Thank you very much. But the other thing is, it's like this precious little thing. Because it's a special memory to everybody. That voice is iconic. So when it's handed to me, then my agent says, hello, Lee, you got the part. And I'm like, okay. So then now because I'm like, oh wait, I got the part. Oh, now I got the part. Now I have to be just as good as the original, or I have to recreate the same sentiment, the same memory for a whole other generation. So it's like this precious little thing. And I have to be very careful with it. I have to treat it like I am just the conduit that character is traveling through, and I want the people at the other end to feel the next generation to feel just as attached to it as I was as a child, even though they have no idea that because they would have never even seen the original. But I know how the original made me feel. Are you okay? You should have some water. Are you sick?
Does anyone have any water?
Are you sick? Are you getting sick? I can't shake your hand if you're getting sick.
I'm not getting sick.
Okay. You got Dayquil. You got Dayquil. You are getting sick.
He did it.
Who? Let's see.
Red shirt.
Okay. Who touched you? I'm gonna go backward through the butterfly effect. How many people? Pretty soon, the causality. Pretty soon we're gonna have all you holding. That last guy in the back. He's the last guy. I shook his head. He shook his head. I was out last night. I was out up in one of the hotel rooms. The lovely German people.
Oh,
Yes. All those great people, and Night Fox was there, and Jägermeister, Mr. Jägermeister was there. Yes, always present. Yes, he and I had a lengthy discussion, and the Australian contingency was there from the Australia furry conventions. These are all fantastic people, but I just really met them last night, and it was everything I could do at 1 o'clock just to say, I gotta go, that's it. And it's like, oh, come on, just have 1 month. So it's easy. So I said, it's in the sink, go get it, Lee, go get it, it's in the sink. I'm from Germany, I will take offense if you don't have I got the Aussies in the back going, what is the matter with you? They don't grind very deep in Canada, do they? And I'm like, no, I just really don't want to wreck my voice because I knew I was going to be doing this. And if you hear my voice right now, you can hear that it's getting a little scratchy. I know I can do the snips really well. But yeah, when you're doing, you got to save your voice. Don't overdo it. Right now, after this, like I said, I'm giving you guys the last of that's in my tank, and I can't do any more after this. But like after the. There is a furry under here, and they're chewing through. I'm telling you, I smell fur. I smell fur burning. There's fur burning. Help me! Help! The wire smells so good. I had to chew through it.
This fellow with the pig ears has had his hand up for a while.
Yes.
Oh, this one?
Yes.
This.
Anyway, my question is now in regards to it.
Yeah, no, you, yeah.
Oh, okay. In regards to, voices, I mean, you were talking about all this care in regards to, when you tear up your voice doing any certain things. Well, what happens when you find a perfect voice for a character, but it turns out that it's really causing damage on your throat? Like, I sing death metal, and of course we have all these precautions that we have to take. And I mean, like when I scream, I always get a little bit of rasp in there. I think that's tearing up your voice after a while. I mean, how do you cope with something like that?
Well, it's always difficult because when you do an audition, sometimes you do an audition from home and it's an MP3 that you send in through your sound room, and you know the character description. Say it's a big character, or it's a big character, or it's an insane character, or it's a character that's very screamy, or it's like a burly character, and you know that you're going to get the job if you do that voice perfectly. Like I'm playing Captain Lapoutine on Pirate Express, which is coming out this year. And he's a great big pirate who talks like this. I'm the captain around here, not you little pipsqueak. And so he talks like this, and he's out like that sort of Devonshire accent, don't you know? And so I do this all day long with him yelling and screaming at people, and at the end, I'm toast. When I did Dr. Frog, he was always being chucked through the air or squeezed between planks or something. It's like, ah! Oh, I knew this was going to be a bad idea. So everything was screaming, I always get screamy parts because they like the fact that I have pretty good comic timing and I don't mind thrashing my voice. But that's why I have to take such good care of it, because if the audition calls for the voice, you've got to do what you got to. If you do anything short of what you know that character should sound like, you're not doing the character a disservice, and you're not going to get the job. Once you get the job, you got to be careful how to use it, not to do it. There's ways to pull back. As you know, doing death metal, is it Norwegian?
Oh, I do like that stuff. That's not what I was saying. Actually, I kind of have. Yeah, it's really a mix. I sing for my own band. It's kind of a mix of like thrash metal and. I actually like Death. You know Death, right?
Yep.
Yeah, kind of like later style. It's not that vocal style, but it's
okay.
Kind of that sound.
Well, but there are ways that you can pull back a little bit without going 100%. Because after I do it, at the end of a session, sometimes they'll say, Lee, are you okay? And I say, oh yeah, I'm totally fine. I taste blood, but I'm fine. But there is ways to do it. But the bottom line is, if you don't take care of your voice, you're not consistent, and if you're not consistent, you lose the job. And for some reason, my landlord wants his rent, and I like to eat, so whatever. So you gotta do it. You gotta do it, but you gotta take care.
And actually, another thing, have you ever had a character that's been damaging to your throat?
Dr. Frog was getting there a little bit. Yeah, and Pronto the Magnificent, which is on Slug Terra right now. You guys watch Slug Terra? Anybody? No? Really popular here, I see. One. Great. So you're the one guy that's watching it. Maybe it's because it's just on YTV in Canada, I don't know. But it's big on, it's on Disney DX. Is it HD? XD. I always get that confused. So it's on Disney, and I play Pronto the Magnificent, who's this little tiny bald man, who's a wonderful tracker and a fantastic lover. And he's not afraid of anything, except his own shadow. So he's always screaming. So he goes from this Latin lover who talks with a Castilian accent to this sort of medicine. Oh, Lee, I can't believe it, why you do these things to me. So that he trashes all the characters that I play. They all just like, let's give Lee the one that sounds crazy and gets beat up a lot. So
good, because they love you.
I know, and I let them because I love their money.
Shall we take another question?
Sure. What about you?
Have you been in situations which have resulted in creative blocks where you've been where you're trying to work on something and you're putting all your effort into it, but it just never feels like it's coming out right, or just doesn't feel like it's coming out the way you're expecting it to? Like,
in terms of acting, or just in creative processes in general?
I guess in general.
Is it because you're going through a creative block right now?
I guess.
Yeah. Okay. Tell me about your mother. No, I do. Like I said, I do teach voiceovers, and what I find is when my students ask me questions like that, it's because they're going through something. And what I always say is that teaching voiceovers ultimately comes down to almost like life coaching sometimes, because if you're going to be a good voice actor, you have to know what it is to be a good human being. and how to be the best you can be, so that you can always bring your best A game to whatever it is you're doing. It's very difficult to do sometimes. I mean, life is weird. The real life, not this life. This actually, with all of you dressed up and everything, that makes sense somehow to me. But out there, you know, in that place that we don't want to be, you know, so this makes sense. So yes, please. It's a strange, crazy, and sometimes very sad world, and it'll block you, it'll stop you. But really, when that happens, I always try and. Okay, I'm writing. I'm a producer as well, and all the money that I make goes into producing things like Fanbuilt, like my Billy Brain Rain series, and like this movie. I'm working on 3 things for the last 3 years, only 3, because if I have other projects, but I promised myself I would only dedicate myself. That's first thing. Dedicate to one thing. Don't go all over the place. Second thing. Where do you think you're going?
To the laboratory. That's where I'm going.
To the laboratory? Oh, the laboratory! I like that even better.
You need the laboratory.
To the laboratory.
To the laboratory!
To the laboratory.
To the lobotomy! To the lobotomy! Wait, what? Oh, okay.
To the laboratory.
So usually when it happens, so I'm writing this thing. Why I'm telling you this is because I've been working on this thing for about 5 years. It's a movie. It's called The Grim Possession of Chesterfield Couch. And if you're interested, I could actually play a little bit of the poem in the beginning on my iPhone if you want to hear it.
No, I'm just kidding. Yeah.
Okay, never mind.
No,
But not right now. But I do want to say that I'm in a bit of a creative block with it right now. We wrote the first movie. I had my editor help me. Get it all streamlined, and then it was a big long movie that I had to cut in half because it was getting to the length of Lord of the Rings, and I'm like, and I'm a first time writer. Nobody's gonna give me that kind of carte blanche to write something. So there's 2 arcs. So the first dramatic arc, I cut it there, I dovetailed it, and then I built up a cliffhanger, and now I'm working on the second one. So that one's done. I'm leaving it over here, and I'm changing it as I'm fixing the second movie. So as I'm tinkering with the second movie, moving things around, I have to like change little tiny things here and there so it makes sense in the history on the first one. So now I'm on the second one. And about 2 weeks ago, I just started doubting one of the plots, and it completely unraveled me. So all of the and I realize it now. And being here amongst you guys, and you know, you're treating me so well. You know, you question yourself. Am I good enough? Am I good enough? Is this working? Am I just fooling myself? You know, maybe I'm not this good. Maybe this is just going nowhere, and this is never going to be seen. And all those doubts. But you know. This has been very helpful to see all you people treating me so nice, but it happens to everybody, and it comes from self-doubt. There is no such a thing as a creative block. There comes from a lack of confidence, and a lot of that can be, you could get rid of that just clarify what it is that you're doing, and that's it. So just realize, say, what am I doing this for? What was the reason I started this thing, whatever that thing is? What's so important about it? Why do I love it? What makes me get up in the morning and say, I'm really excited to do that thing, whatever your thing is. You see, it's all, I mean, it's life lessons, and I don't want to come off like I'm just like, sorry, just get down off my soapbox now. You know, I don't want to be that. It's just I do like to inspire people to find confidence in themselves. So that's what yes, in answer to your question, yes, it has happened. It's happened recently, and not so much with voiceovers because I'm afraid of failure, and I love voiceovers, and I would never do anything to damage it. And when I approach voiceovers, if I'm working 4 shows, like in the last couple of weeks, I've been doing 4 shows a week, which means I go home and I rehearse for the night before, and then during the day I perform. And I go home with tomorrow's script, so I rehearse. So it's like science with me. It's my job. It's the job I love. So yeah, babbling too much, sorry. So I don't want to come across like, oh, he thinks he knows everything. It's just I'm sitting up here in front of a microphone and you're asking me questions, so I can't help it, but...
pretentious. You're trying not to come across as pretentious.
Yes. Yes. Is it working?
Yes, it is.
Okay.
I want to, we still have some time here.
We could go for an hour and a half if you guys want. It's set on the schedule an hour and a half, and you guys you're not scaring me too much, so I feel safe.
I want to ask an obvious question of the audience. Do we have some MLP fans here? Yeah.
Oh,
I'm a Johnny Test fan.
You're everywhere. Oh, sweet. I'm a Johnny Test fan myself.
Yeah.
We're coming back for season 7, by the way.
Yes. You told me.
Yes, and I don't know if I can mention
Well,
this.
actually, I have a message for Bling Bling Boy.
Well, for all of the young aspiring voice talent in the room, and as we have seen, there's a lot of you, one way to come up with multiple voices, one way to remember multiple voices is to find one catchphrase per character. And you find that one catchphrase. Like I'll never be Marge Simpson. I always have a Marge Simpson, but if I want to do a Marge Simpson voice, I always say the same phrase. I always say, homie, there's something about the severed monkey paw that just doesn't settle with me. So, and I know that that's my line, and I can get into that voice whenever I want just by always remembering that line. And it's sort of like a mental Rolodex. So, and another way to come up with good voice and to immediately recall it, North, is to laugh in that voice. So you can come up with a character, like Goofy. I mean, I'm sure they came up with the laugh first, like, you know, yeah, and I stole that. I did that with Dr. Frog so many times.
Or Scooby-Doo, there's a famous laugh.
That's right. Like Cheese Scoob. Yeah. How about?
I told you I'd do something anyway.
Yeah, you said you did some work in like fringe theater as well, and theater in general, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. What are some of your favorite works of theater?
I did Erica Bogosian's 10-man 10-character show called Sex, Drugs, and Rock and Roll, and that was. Oh, are you okay, man?
I just have to head out pretty soon.
Oh, okay. Anyway, so yeah, Sex, Drugs, Rock and Roll. 10 characters, 1-man show. I loved doing that. I played a gentleman in a straitjacket who thought he was a television in Don DeLillo's The Day Room. It took place in a insane asylum. So yeah, no personal history there. Yeah, and I think that's really weird.
Okay, now I'm getting show you.
Okay, I'll see you.
No, I was going to see what that noise
Oh, no, I thought you were going. It's okay. It's okay. So, yeah.
Speaker's possessed.
Yeah. Oh, see, maybe you can call Jen Talent for us. Maybe you can call Jen Talent for us and have him send somebody.
It's not bothering me that much.
Okay, where should I call him from?
I'm OC.
Yeah, OC will get it.
Don't steal my character.
So, but I think aside from the theater, I did do a lot of theater, but I think I really loved stand-up comedy. I did that for so long. Dinner theater was fine. I did that when I was still living in Kelowna. But doing stand-up really toughens you up. It's hard. It's hard to, because I can make people laugh when they're not expecting me to make people laugh. But when I'm expected to make people laugh, boy, people hate laughing. They just look at you. Oh, they look at you. All right, Mr. Funny Pants, make me laugh. I just got home from work. I've been on the job all day. I hate my boss. There wasn't a beer in the fridge. I'm spending $15 at the door for me and my wife. Make us laugh. I'm like, okay, so, hey, how about that airplane food? So, yeah, it's tough, and it toughened me up, and it was good. That was my favorite part of theater. But I did like playing the man who thought he was a television. That was crazy. Anybody else? Somebody from over there. Yep.
Yeah. Considering how important self-presentation is professionally, would you encourage people to pursue education in voice acting, even if that's not something they're going into, just in any field?
I think what you're asking is there a larger crossover between the skill sets that one needs to be a good voice actor, whereas they would apply to the rest of the world?
Yeah, to any profession, especially for creative professionals.
Yeah, well, I suppose, you know, there's the Dale Carnegie and all that stuff for public speaking. You know, there's like how to present yourself, how to, those kind of things, which are kind of like a fringe. You're making me nervous. Have a seat.
All right.
Did you just think, oh, I stood up now, what am I going to do? I got to sit down, now everybody knows I'm standing, I can't possibly sit down. Okay.
I should get going.
Okay, well.
Is that if I meet you at the pound tomorrow?
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. Okay, well, good. Thank you, everybody. Thank you. Let's have a round of applause. I'll see you tomorrow. Please rest tonight. Get yourself some rest.
Trust me, that's what I'm hoping.
Okay. I'll see you tomorrow.
What? Trust me, you are nowhere near as paranoid as you think.
Who told you that?
I see what you did there.
So yeah, like public speaking kind of stuff is always good, just for how to present yourself. That it's kind of it's associated with voiceover, but it's not, you know, it's not as. And if you are interested in taking courses and classes, I could promote something that I did. It's cheap. I'm not going to get paid anything. They already paid me. If you're interested, because sometimes I wanted to make something with that would not cost people a lot of money, because I was getting a lot of students that were saving up their money, and I'd have people coming in there saying, I'm a single dad, and you know, we saved up our money so that I could do this thing because I really want to be a voice actor. And then they weren't good, or they couldn't do it because the demands on their life personally couldn't allow them to do it. So the schools that I work for now and the schools that I worked for then, they would charge these people an arm and a leg. Even the Union of BC Performers, when I first started, they charged them so much money, and I'd be like, oh God, it's just, you know. So if you're interested in taking a cheap course, it's every 2 months. I teach once every Wednesday. First 4 hours when people get on, it's called on the mic training. But I took the first 15 minutes of these courses, all four, and I bundled them into an hour. And Tom Lee Music produced it, and they paid me once, so they'll get money, but I won't. But it's 78910.com, and it's $20. And it's everything that I learned in all of my career boiled down to 1 hour. 15 minutes on each section. The first is the audition process. The second is, and studio etiquette. The second is coming up with multiple voices. And I give a chart, a wheel on how to do that, and how to remember them. Also moving your body through an imaginary space. The third week is subtext, why the writer wrote what the writer wrote, and your place as your character in the timeline of that usually 3-act. It's like the Greeks wrote the 3-act play. So sometimes that's in a 22-minute, sometimes it's in a full-length motion feature, sometimes it's in 11-minute. They're bundling cartoons in 11-minute segments now. So, but there's still that 3-act thing. So your place in that world. So and then I also have a little bonus thing in there about how to, your home studio. So if you're interested, it's like $19.99 or something like that, and it's the number 789 and then the letters TEN.com. And just type my name in, and if you're interested in that. Again, I'm not promoting me, but it's instead of spending $250, $350 and you're interested in learning about taking courses, I'd rather you take that because it's everything I know, and it's $20. And it's cheaper than, so it's a good introductory thing, and you don't have to spend all that money. Because I don't like people that make people spend lots of money. I don't think that courses should cost that much. I think the information should be basically, if not free, then super cheap, because there's YouTube has loads of great things that you can learn for free, and demo reels, making a demo reel. There's people out there charging you an arm and a leg and a left hoof, and and a tail, just to get a demo reel together. I don't believe in it. I don't like it. I think it's taking advantage of some people that want to pursue a dream, and I think it's robbery. So, yeah. That was a long-winded way. I talk like I said, careful which direction you point me, because I'll be there and an hour later going, and that's my story.
Yeah, these are some great questions.
Great questions, yeah. Yeah.
This is going back to the discussion we had on our lyrics, because this is actually an interesting one for me. After I finished Nevada's training during Army Basic, I actually got into a bout with a guy. Thankfully, I got him back. But in the process, instead of actually grappling, he decided to crush my lyrics. So I'm still recovering from that. This has been 2 months ago, and actually it was, I was fearful that I wouldn't be able to go back into voice acting. I sing tenor, and I actually lost the slot to sing the national anthem because I could not hit the notes that I used to.
Man.
So there are still some things that I cannot do.
Yeah, I'm really sorry to hear that. It does heal. You feel, yeah, you just gotta be careful and maybe like wear some kind of an iron neck band or something.
There's no ace bandages for a lyrics on.
No, it's true. Okay, well, you didn't hear it from me, but the Diefenbachia plant is also known as dumb cane, and dumb cane, when crushed into a powder and put into a drink, can actually paralyze the vocal cords of anybody who drinks it for about 24 hours. So just next time he does that to you, maybe you didn't hear that from me, and I don't even know what I'm talking about. I don't collect, bits of evil like that. I don't.
There's a lovely place in our country called Fort Leavenworth. I don't want to go there.
Yeah, but it's not life threatening. Diefenbachia, it's a prank. Oh, college prank! I gotcha! Oh, I gotcha! Oh boy, that's terrible. I hate when I kind of like hearing stuff like that. I don't know what I would do. I don't know what I would do if anything bad happened to my throat. If I couldn't do voiceovers anymore, I would be so sad. You're so tired. You're yawning.
It's been a long weekend.
It was a long weekend? Oh, well, I'm not boring you. If I am, I'm totally sorry.
They're all still here, and their hands are up.
You keep talking, it's a job.
I think they're interested.
Okay, somebody else. Okay, yes, you.
Okay, I'm a comedian, and I know you're not a professional comedian anymore. However, I was wondering if you had any advice or like lessons learned from your time being a comedian, and also I was wondering if you remember any of your old jokes from your act.
I remember any of my old jokes from my act. Oh gosh, not really. I just kind of I was a rambler. I think I had one about roads. I was like, I don't understand roads, man. I don't understand roads. It's like roads. It's just when they say all those people that are over there. That just helps them to find their way over here, man. I mean, so I was just like, I was a rambler. I just talked. I would ask questions, and then I would just talk to the audience, because it was much better than set up, build up, punch. Set up, build up, punch. I did do a lot of channel changing for a little while, so I would move from voice to voice, and I did have like characters that I developed that I would just speak in those voices. But no, I mean, we're talking 15 years ago, man. I don't remember this morning. So, but advice for comedians? Don't let the nerves get you, and the only way the nerves won't get you is if you're off book. Off book means you know your stuff, and you know everything has its segue, everything has its, it's verbatim. Don't think of it as stand-up. Think of it as a play. And leave the audience their time to soak up and laugh, and know when you're going to do that. Keep it interesting. Just like with doing a demo reel, for all of you interested in doing a demo reel, you have 5 seconds to wow them. That's it. And so get in quick, get in fast, get in hard, and show an example of the perfect cross section of who it is that these people are about to see, because they have to be able to relate to you. You have to be relatable somehow. Even if it's just that guy that nobody can relate to, that's relatable because, you know, you're either with us or against us. Well, that guy told, I could never be that guy, but that guy's so funny not being me. Like, that would never be that guy. That guy's so, you know, just so you have to associate, make them associate with you, make them find a commonality with you, even if it's just that you are uncommon to them, that you are foreign to them. Make that okay. And you got 5 seconds. That's it. Man, that was a short answer. Actually, it was 2 minutes long, and that was the shortest answer I've given today. Anybody else? You've got your hand up for a long time.
I've done some theater stuff and some musical stuff throughout the years, but I've never really had anything gone through like a recording process, or I don't really have any materials for like building a demo reel together. Do you have any tips for like getting the material or figuring out what to create or what to get to put into a demo reel? Or?
Sure. I can talk about demo reels for a second. Demo reel should be no more than 2 minutes, no shorter than 1 minute, so that people can see that. So you have a chance to get 5 different characters, and you could do each one of those 5 characters long enough so that people can see that you can maintain that voice, and short enough that you can move on to the next one without going over the 2-minute time limit. 2 minutes is even pushing it, like 1.5 minutes. Get in, get out. Channel changing, I know I keep talking about it, but it's an easy way to get from one character to another without having to write a 1.5 minute segment where all of the characters are interacting in like a doctor's office or an elevator or a thing so that they're all talking, which can be kind of like, you know, trite. It can get very obvious, like, oh, okay, and I say this to you, 2, 3, and she says this to him, 2, 3. And, you know, just channel changing is a good way to go. Sound effects, make it sound like a cartoon because you're doing cartoons, or make it sound like an old-fashioned radio play, but never let the sound effects that you're putting into the demo overpower the vocal stylings, the acting. Make the characters that are in the demo reel different from each other, so if you have some very old, some very young. Some different accents, only put accents in if you do them very well. Don't do anything that you can't maintain. If you can maintain it, if you sound like you're a native, like you're from there, then it's all right to put it in. Then that's all right. Like I did South African, I learned South African a couple of years ago, and it took me about a year to learn it, so that I sounded like I was from there. Like I actually sound like I'm actually from there now, I think, maybe, unless there's a South African here and they go, oh, that sucks, man. Totally, that's not it. You're totally off, man. But I wouldn't let anybody hear me talk in that voice for 1 year. I kept it to myself, and now you can't stop me from doing it. When I get drunk, I totally sound like that. I'll just slip into this. What you do, man? Hey, nice to see you. I like you said, I always thought that South Africans used to sound like you're kind of up to something. You know, sneaky. Hey, they don't ask you what time it is. They say, wait. If I was to ask you what time it is, would you tell me? Yeah, so those are some fast and dirty tricks to getting a demo done. Start it big, you got 5 seconds. Sound effects, maybe a music badge, but not so much that it's, and then crank that down, and then start the acting. Keep it going, keep the pacing going. Remember, cartoons happens in fast time. It's click, 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 a little bit faster than normal speed. When you're done, say, hi, my name is so-and-so. This is a small example of some of my voices, and I can be reached at, and then your phone number. And then you give that to an agent later, and then you re-record it, and you take your number out, and you put their phone number in, and then they go and get you jobs, and then you go and get gigs, and then you go to Fanbuilt and type me and say, hey, that advice worked, and now I'm a working actor, and I just took all your parts from you. Thanks, Lee! And then I buy some Diefenbachia, which crushed up into a powder. Anyone else? Anyone else? Okay, let's see. So anybody in the very back? We got one in the very back.
You mentioned earlier about inheriting other voices. How much pressure do you feel about inheriting other parts, such as
Well, like I said, I mean, the onus is on me, so it really does. And you know, I'm a perfectionist. I have a little OCD. What was the T-shirt I saw today? CDO. Yeah, I have CDO, which is like OCD, but in alphabetical order, as it should be. I didn't bring any money with me. I'm going up. I got like 6 shirts I'm going to buy tomorrow. I know I'm off topic. And the steampunk guy with his cool brass and the things, and the little things, and the little thing that comes over the, I want that, and the cane, and, okay, so lots of pressure the onus is on you to make, to keep that memory of that character alive, because it's an iconic character. At least it is to me. And with me being OCD and really perfectionist, and I need it to be perfect. And I don't accept anything else other than perfect, because there's thousands of other young voice actors out there, and I have to try harder than all of them, because I don't want them taking food from my fridge, because I like the food in my fridge, and I like my fridge, and I like the house that my fridge comes in. And if they take my jobs, I lose the food in the fridge and the house. So yeah, the onus is on it's okay to be perfectionist about it. There's a big onus, but only as much as you put on yourself.
Have you ever found your perfectionism to be self-limiting, like to the point that it makes you like almost too afraid to act like this has to be
second guess
perfect?
yourself?
Yeah.
Yes, yeah, sometimes.
So
yeah.
how do you overcome that?
You know, you don't. You don't. I do second guess myself because I am a perfectionist, and I think, like, I've been up for characters, like when I was up for George of the Jungle, I was nervous like crazy, because it's an iconic character, and I just knew that I had to be the best, my version I could be, and I came up with the ooh, and I did, and that was my thing, and I thought, okay, that's, you know, and I worked out the script. And I made it, I was off book, which is another thing. When you go into auditions, I teach all my students. Okay, full disclosure, voice actors are lazy. They are lazy because they have that script right there. It's right there. They'll pick it up in the morning and they'll just, okay, BS, BS, my line, BS, 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 my line. Oh, okay, I got it. Sorry. But I tell my students, if you're going in for an audition and you really want this thing, then be off book, which means memorize it. Because you know why? Because nobody else is going to do that. Nobody else is going to do that. And if you're the only guy that comes in there, and you're sitting there, and there's the fishbowl, there's the window there, and then in the sound booth, there's the producer and the director's there, the casting agent is there, and the engineer is looking at you, and you're holding up your script, and you start talking, and then you look at them, and you drop the script, and you keep performing. I've done this to them, and they're just like, what's he doing? I can see them like, what's he doing? And they're looking and they're like, yeah, that's it. That's it. And I always get those parts because I'm like, ding. Those other people, lazy. Leroy, not lazy. So yeah. So I've stopped myself dead in my tracks because I've overthunk things. But you can't. You just got to be the best version of you that you can be, and know that it's like my rule: get off book, be the best you can be. Once you so the lesson here is learn the rule and then throw your head away. Yeah, it's good. Learn the rule, throw your head away. I'm gonna write that down. Yes.
How do you feel about the International Phonetic Alphabet? The phonetic alphabet?
The phonetic alphabet? You mean from the Phoenicians, from Libya, from Lebanon?
IPA. Yeah, the IPA.
I don't get out of the house very much.
Some actors follow that a lot, I guess. The symbols, the crazy symbols that I guess you can do any accent if you put this letter, this magical letter, right underneath.
Oh, are you talking about how to learn accents by writing things out phonetically?
Yeah, phonetic alphabet.
I think that's great. That's how I taught my first students when I was at the Union of BC Performers. I had a guy who was Australian, Gary Little. Anyway, the thickest accent. I couldn't understand a word he was saying. They said, "Oh, will be big about Billabong?" And I'm like, "They call me blah 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 blah." They go, "Hey, my baby," and I'm like, and he needed to learn how to do a North American accent, and I couldn't do it, so I just decided to write things out phonetically, and then of course he just couldn't do it. He couldn't. It just sounded so belabored. But it is a very good method, a very good tool for how to learn an accent. So I'm all for it. It's because it makes sense. It's logical.
Why don't we test Lee on that? These are some letters that I've told you can use to make a South African ask for breakfast.
The letters are F-U-N-E-M-N-X.
Yes. Something like...
What, I didn't think I was going to have to study for this. What do you explain?
F-U-N-E-M-N-X.
F-U-N-E-M-N-X? What's M&X?
M&X.
M&X, I see, that's good. It's very clever, yes, no thing. If you any M&X. If you, alright, okay. So, oi, if you, any M&X? I don't know. That's pretty good. Oh, that's clever. Okay. If you any, M&X?
I'll keep my day job.
That was almost mean. Say, here, Lee, let's show everybody how dumb you are. Anyone else? Yeah.
Before it had sounded like you kept getting a lot of very similar roles. So like, it sounds like there's a lot of typecasting in the industry. Do you think that's more along the lines of because of how you present yourself in the beginning, or just kind of getting repeatedly thrown into the same role?
It's a combination of a lot of things. I don't really know. I have been told that that people enjoy my sense of comic timing. So I don't even try for the leads anymore with anything that isn't a comic lead. I don't usually go for. Like, I'm not going to be cast as like the hero. I could, but there's people that do that, and I don't, and it's not as fun. So I get to sort of write what I want. I select what I want now. I tell my agent that I won't do certain roles. Like I don't do Warhammer 40K anymore. I don't do any video games. It wrecks my voice. Everything's all fire in the hole, and it thrashes my voice. But I like doing fun, happy, funny things. I like characters that are like the comic leads, the comic foils, the comic sidekicks, or are quirky somehow, or there's something kind of wrong with them on some fundamental level. That's the ones I can really relate to for some reason. I can't imagine why, but I like those characters, so I get to sort of select. They do ask me to do other things, and occasionally I will acquiesce, and I'll do it, but I don't have as much fun. So I always get the little weird characters like the Dr. Frogs and the Brontos and the George of the Jungles, and there's a new one coming out from Nerdcore I want you guys to check out. It's coming out called Endangered Species. I play a gullible as soon as possible. As soon as possible. I say this, I'm a union man. It's okay to do non-union work in the beginning. As a matter of fact, I recommend it because it's really hard to get union work if you're not in the union. Because you're not in the union and you can't get union work. And you have to pay a fee. It's a catch-22. So what you want to do is get as many student projects under your belt, do free stuff, go to voices.com and Voice Bunny and Voice123, upload your demo reel, give an explanation of all the different kinds of voices and the age range that you can play and the accents that you can do, upload your reel, pay them a fee once a year, I don't know how much it is, and then they'll send you auditions. Get those auditions, and then once you get a couple of them and you land a couple, put them on your CV, curriculum vitae, your resume, basically. So, and then get yourself an IMDb account. Then you get the IMDb coordinated with your CV or your resume. And then you take that, all those little things that you did for free, that you slogged out, and you just, okay, suck it up. And then you take it to the union and say, okay, this is what I got. And once you have a certain amount of credits, they'll get you into the union. Or you could simply pay a fee to get in the union. I don't know how it works here with SAG. Screen Actors Guild is a different foreign beast to me. So find out how, if you just maybe just pay a union dues just to get in. And then, but it's good to get in because then once you get an agent, they can send you out for union gigs, which pay a lot better, and they will protect you in case you get into a discrepancy with your contract between you and some shady shyster producer. Okay. See, that wasn't so long. I answered that one pretty quick. I think it was getting better. All right.
What was the name of the three places you listed on?
Voices.com, Voice123, and Voice Bunny. You can also upload your demo reel for a fee to Voice Bank. There are places like this that you can upload your stuff to, and they'll send you daily. They'll send you auditions, which are basically you get your ad copy. It'll be commercials, sometimes cartoons, sometimes narration, and then you just read the ad copy into the microphone, edit it in GarageBand, hit share. Under share, it'll say export song to disk. If you're not Mac, you can use Audacity. If you use Mac, it's GarageBand. These are free programs, and you can get simple USB microphones, hooks into your computer. Even your iPhone has pretty good field recorder, so does your iPad. Go into a closet where you're baffled, where the sound doesn't bounce around, send out the MP3, and bada bing, bada bang. There you go. And then you set up a PayPal account, and then they pay you. How's that? I'm teaching you guys a lot of stuff here. You guys are filling your heads. Is it good? Okay, somebody, you had somebody had their hand up.
Yeah, in the center there, he's got his hand up for that.
Okay.
So, two things. First, a response to the comments about extreme vocals and death metal growling from before. I recommend looking into the Zen of Screaming by Melissa Cross.
We got both those EVs.
The Zen of Screaming.
Yes.
Cool.
The other thing was a question for you. In the world of voice acting, which do you find more valuable? Being able to do a lot of different characters or a few characters really well?
Being able to do a lot of different characters very well. I've done it long enough that I would not break it out in front of people without knowing that it met my seal of approval. So, does that answer your questions? Okay. Easy.
When you use GarageBand and Audacity, what is your process of mastering?
Of mastering?
Yeah, like mastering the recording, compression and noise removal, whatever.
It's just auditions. I never do that. I mean, I have a compressor. I have it's a really good one for noise cancellation and stuff for room noise. So I use that. I use the Joe Meeks Q1. It's called the Q1. It's by Joe Meeks. A couple of things like $300-400, and get them to set it up at the store for you because there's a lot of buttons on it. And I just took pictures of whether they were depressed or whatever, because I didn't want to. I'm like, that's like NASA. I don't get that crap. I'm walking away. Like Taylor walks away.
What was the name of the noise cancellation?
It's called Joe Meeks. It's by Joe Meeks, and it's called the Q, letter Q, and O-N-E, Q1. I don't remember. I think between $300 and $500. I can't remember. But there's other ones you can get. Just ask for a compressor. Just go into your local store, your music store, and ask the department that takes care of the recordings. Just say, here's my budget. This is what I need. I need something that takes the room sound away from my room. Makes it sound like, so it's just, you're just hearing my voice. Then get them to line up about 4 or 5 microphones. Everything from USBs to XLRs. And if they're good and they're helpful, and they should be because that's their job, and they see how dedicated you are to your future craft or your present craft, they will let you listen with headphones to each microphone, and you give them your budget, and they will line up 2 or 3 in that range, and then you say, okay, may I listen to them? And then you can hear the sound of your voice. Some condenser microphones will make you sound bottom heavy, or make you sound more crisper or lighter. And if you want to be that sort of, in a world, and you don't want something that makes you go, in a world, it's like, oh, this microphone, it's like, it sort of sounds like this, and I get up here, and then I say, what's wrong with this microphone? I don't know, it's because I sound like this ordinarily, what's going on? So you get things that can make you sound tinny, or, so pick the one that suits your vocal stylings the best. Yeah, it's setting up your own sound chain, it's called, is very important, and it is tantamount, or it is it's what you need. It's tantamount to success. It is equal to success, your future success. You require it in order for people to hear what you sound like. So whether you want yourself to sound warm or rich or clear and crisp, I prefer I have a couple. I have a beautiful Rhodes microphone, and my very favorite is my Sennheiser 416 shotgun mic, and it is it's wonderful. So that's what worked for me. I think that was about $1,600 or something like that. But I was using money from my cartoons, and I believe in my work, and so I put money back into my career. So you gotta, but start small. I mean, you get into a closet with your iPad. It's got a great microphone, and I was showing people the other day. In the last, I think whoever was, if you guys were here last time, I showed you. Where is it? Ah, here it is. This. It's an Apogee mic, and it's got a USB, and it's an actual fully functioning condenser mic. It's got the volume on the side, and it clicks into your either USB. It comes with different attachment cords, but it goes into the back of your iPhone or your iPad or your iPad Mini.
Wow, Lee, are you saying you had the solution to this motorboating problem all along?
Yes, exactly. But this doesn't. But unfortunately, this doesn't have an amplifier. So, guess right here. So this wouldn't have come up very loud. But these are $200. And there's lots of little things like this that are coming up all the time. So go shop around if this is something you want to do. It is your career. And who doesn't like buying toys anyway, right?
Well, I think we have time for just one more question.
Okay.
And then I'd like to give you the last word if you want to say anything after that before we give your voice a rest, because
Okay.
you're going to need it.
Well, actually, this hasn't been too bad. I find this, you guys have been really great. So it's been okay. You guys, have you enjoyed it?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah?
Conversation. I kind of liked that about it.
Yeah, well, I mean,
A lot more depth and
it's because I saw how
sometimes
many
get.
hands went up when the people that actually wanted to pursue this. So it behooves me. It behooves. That's a brony / furry joke. But yeah, so it behooves me to teach you guys. And this is what I'm saying. You don't have to spend a lot of money on classes. They're going to soak you for between $200 and $500, and probably the same to make a demo. You don't have to do that. You just I give it away. Like if you want to hear everything that I know, go to the 78910.com. I don't get any money out of it, but you're going to have that, and that's $20 instead of spending $250, $500, whatever it is they're going to soak you for. So do that. I think that information should be given for free, or at least as close to free as possible, so that when I come to these conventions, I totally empty out my head. So I always, which really makes, I was going to say a bad word, really makes the other voice coaches in Vancouver very upset at me, because they're like, stop giving the information away. We have to charge for that. I have to eat. I like my food. But yeah, sorry, I just okay. I talk a lot again.
Thank you. That's what you're here for.
Do you teach outside of Vancouver? I mean, is there a way?
Well, I mean, the course is available online, so I mean, in that way, I will be teaching for the next 100 years, or until cyberspace crashes.
And is that the 789?
That's the 78910 course. Yeah, the number 789 and then ten.com, and just type my name or something. I've never. I see. They gave me a copy on a disc, and then I saw that. I'm like, yeah, that's me. Okay. And then they gave me a one-time payment. I'm like, okay, thanks. That's great.
So if we do the course, we want to check in with the teacher. How would we go about doing that?
Oh, you can't. But what you can do is go to Fanbuilt and just go give me a direct message.
Okay.
And then I'll answer it, and then in that way, so that in that way you will be talking to the very teacher that is part of that course. If you have any specifics, just say, hey, I just got the course through Tom Lee Music, and I have some questions, and then I'll say, okay, I will answer them.
Well, do you have any last words or two for us?
I just want to say thanks. I mean, you guys, the bronies treated me really well. I wasn't part of the main six, and so I was always the redheaded stepchild, you know. But you guys have really embraced me, and Uncle Kage, I mean, the flight over was great. Picked me up in a limo. Like, I'm not that guy. So I was sitting in there going, what do I should I sit differently? I feel like I should sit cooler. I should be sitting cooler, you know? So, you guys have just treated me so well.
Our chairman likes to treat people with style.
Yes, he does. And people coming up to my table, thank each and every one of you. I've been, full disclosure, last couple of years, pretty emotionally pretty crappy for me. Left my wife. She, made a mistake. It's bad and whatever, and I took her back for a while, and then I just couldn't do it, and it was sad. So emotionally, and then some things with my family. So, as everybody, as it does in everyone's life, there's things. My career is going great, but lately it's been kind of like, things. But then I come here, and you guys, suffice it to say, you being nice to me coincided with the time that I really needed people to be nice to me. So thank you for being nice to me.
Yes, thank you.
Come up to me anytime. Come up to me anytime and say hi and whatever. I'm not one of those, telling my handlers just try and guide me away from the masses. I don't want the unwashed masses. I'm not that guy. So
Except for the limo.
Except for the limo. I really got to work on my cool sitting stuff. I gotta sit cooler. So thanks again, you guys. I'm here tonight. I'm gonna go and sit in my hotel and rest my voice. And I think the Germans and the Australians want me to go out and play with them again, and I don't. I'm a little worried. A little nervous. So, no, honestly, just one more shot of Jaeger. It's will be fine. No, it's just one little shot of Jaeger. It's mostly like it's like juniper in there. Pepper. There's all minerals, and it's all. It was used as a cough medicine. It's very good for you. It's healthy. No, you're not gonna get me that. Anyway, so thanks you guys again.
Thanks everybody.
Thank you for coming.